What up, my fellow NBA lovers? This is your guy, Marcellus Ease. Ask and you shall receive. And this goes in the case of Mr. LeBron James, as last season he was stirring up the pot and making it seem like he should have deserved the regular season MVP award, even though Giannis was the best regular season player. And the Toronto Raptors, quiet as kept, had almost the same record as the Lakers going into the season a few weeks before the season had gotten postponed. Now, with the injury to Anthony Davis, pretty much the doors is opened up for LeBron James to earn that regular season MVP award. In my opinion, the Lakers don't even have to come in first place in their division for him to get that award. As long as the Lakers finish the top 4 seeds, LeBron James is pretty much going to take this award because the media narrative has already been based around LeBron James getting this award to start off the season, the same way it was for Russell Westbrook back in 2017. Now, LeBron James is in his 18th year. He's 36 years old. And the Lakers do have the second half of their schedule, the tougher portion of their schedule, as they're going to face in the next few games Brooklyn, which they already lost to, the Miami Heat, the Utah Jazz, the 4th place Portland Trail Blazers, the 7th place Golden State Warriors, and the 5th place Phoenix Suns. Now, LeBron James will need some assistance from some of his compadres, Wesley Matthews, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, Caruso, Marcus Morris, but especially Kyle Kuzma. The Lakers gave him a nice little contract, and he has little to worry about, as now he could just play ball because pretty much his safety as far as being a Laker is guaranteed. Now they're going to talk about who the pressure is really on. You guys check out this segment, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Pressure is on LeBron right now.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him, and LeBron understands that. He's at the forefront of the MVP conversation, and if he is what many believes he is, the MVP frontrunner right now, he should keep them in contention. Even though the West is crowded, it's very good. Utah is better than people thought.
And they definitely are. But also, I want to say this about LeBron James. In the 29 games they played so far, up until their loss against Brooklyn, LeBron James only scored over 30 points 6 times. So keep in mind, Father Time is undefeated.
Won a game last night without their 2 best players, and they look against a team that went to the NBA Finals last year.
By the way, without 4 starters.
They look good last night. Ty Lue has them playing extremely well.
He does.
Denver is to be reckoned with.
Yep.
Portland is to be reckoned with. So LeBron James is going to have to be on top of his game, as I expect him to be on top of his game.
None of these teams really would be to reckon with if Anthony Davis was healthy. But now that Anthony Davis is not as healthy, we're about to see if LeBron James could really carry this team.
But Skip, you don't have a choice. And I think what we saw from 2 years ago is that AD is looking at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant had a calf strain, Skip, that couldn't bother him. He missed 5 games. He come back. He missed a couple of games and come back, and then we know how that ended. And I said yesterday, Skip, I thought they should keep him out for a minimum of 2 weeks. That would take him up to the All-Star game. We reevaluate you after that. Because this is an injury, Skip. You better make sure he's 100%. Because if you don't, it's going to keep flaring up. And the one thing you don't want it to do, forget rupture. Obviously, you don't want to have a rupture, but you don't want it to flare up come playoff time, because I don't believe they can get all the way home without AD being 100% come playoff time.
And I also believe the league has a lot of politics in play with Anthony Davis being so injured. I'm pretty sure the Lakers also, they want their TV ratings still happening, so they want the fans to remain optimistic and also try not to show their cards. But also the Lakers got to be very careful because they don't want Anthony Davis to come back and get re-injured the same way Kevin Durant did, because they can't afford for him to be out for a whole nother year while LeBron James ages.
So LeBron is going to have to be LeBron. Skip, remember now, they had to go to overtime twice against OKC without AD. He played, 43 minutes, 41 minutes?
Yep.
So we see where this is headed. Kuzma says, I just need an opportunity. You're going to get it. AD is not coming back for the foreseeable future, at the bare minimum 3 to 4 weeks.
Yep.
This is your opportunity, to show what you're capable of. You say, I can do it. I know I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
Yep.
You're not going to have anybody looking over your shoulder.
Definitely won't. And in his first game starting at power forward against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he had a regular mediocre game, 7 points, 4 rebounds. But against Brooklyn, he definitely did his thing, but Brooklyn doesn't play defense at all. So that's not really saying much. But once again, Kyle Kuzma has already earned his money. He has his safety net. He's going to remain a Laker for a while. His contract is pretty much guaranteed. So he has nothing pretty much to worry about. But LeBron James just needs minor assistance for some of these guys, especially Wesley Matthews, who's always up and down with the shooting. Dennis Schroeder is obviously going to contribute, but I wonder at what capacity, because LeBron James likes to have the ball in his hands, but Dennis Schroeder is kind of that guy at that point guard position right now.
Go play the way you played the last 5 games. Other guys are going to have to step up their play. Marc Gasol, you're going to have to be better than what you've been through 28 games of this season.
That's unlikely to happen. Marc Gasol is kind of at the end of his career right now. But the Lakers are going to need all their guys to step up at least a little bit, because once again, going all the way up to the 8th seed of the Western Conference, that team is only 8.5 back. So every other team, as long as you go up the seeding, they're only, 7 games back. The 7th seed, 6th seed is only 6 games back, and so on and so on. So that Western Conference right now is pretty tight. And the Lakers in the second half of the season, they're going up against the tougher end of their scheduling. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Have to be better. I don't know.
Not sure he's capable.
But he's going to have to summon something up.
Yep.
And the other guys are going to have to play their part. They're going to have to play extremely well. But I expect LeBron to be LeBron, to stay at the forefront of the MVP discussion, because this is your opportunity, Skip. He could actually win it over the next month if he plays the way I think he can play and keep the Lakers where they are.
Yep.
The narrative was already set up in the beginning of the year for him to win it. Now he's going to have to actually prove it without Anthony Davis. That's really going to be the tough part. Once again, LeBron James in the first 29 games has only gone over 30 points 6 times.
Okay, before I get to your man, LeBron James, I want to echo your sentiments about Anthony Davis in ominous tones. I want to echo, because this concerned me to the point of got a little creepy, because it started to smack of Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Wait a second. Now you're changing your diagnosis, your prognosis to the dreaded calf strain.
Right.
That's all we heard. We're going back 2 finals ago.
And we've seen how that play out. And we've seen Kyrie Irving in his press conference the first time he came to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant, how he kind of hinted that the reason why Kevin Durant's injury was hidden was for ratings and to sell a TV product. Let's keep that in mind. There's a lot of politics at play here. This goes way beyond the Lakers. They got to keep the overall NBA landscape interesting. They can't say he's going to be out for the year.
Kevin Durant, he's got a calf strain. Well, does it involve the Achilles? Nobody knows for sure.
Right.
And then he tries to push it back, and boom, it's
we
gone.
saw what happened, right.
Okay, so it was an Achilles. First it was tendonitis, then it went to tendinosis, which is more of a degeneration of maybe the Achilles tendon. And all of a sudden, then we switch it around to calf strain. Don't love it. Don't love it for you, for LeBron, for the team going forward.
And I don't love it for Anthony Davis, because he has a long rap sheet of just lingering injuries and always hurt and is always out. And he has a lot of quirky injuries on his rap sheet. I mean, when he was in the Pelicans, he used to get the weirdest injuries. Would run away for about halftime, disappear for the third quarter, and come back at the end of the game and make clutch plays. That's pretty much been the story of Anthony Davis' whole career.
I think you better be way safer than sorrier on this one. You better hold off.
Right.
You better at least go through the All-Star break and then check signals, and then you might want to go a little longer just to make sure he's 100%. He thought he was 100% going into this game two nights ago.
Right.
Right?
And that's the thing, Skip. When you miss a couple of games, it calms down. And you're like, man, this thing feels good. And guess what happened?
I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant said the same thing. This thing feels good. He signed that waiver, and then we seen what happened.
Just a slight push in the wrong direction, and boom.
Okay. Now, back to LeBron James. The MVP frontrunner, according to just about all of the known world except for me. I told you a year ago, I thought he flat out won the MVP as we hit the pandemic. I thought it was over and done. He should have received it over Giannis last year.
I disagree with that. Giannis's team had the better record overall. And once again, Look at the last few weeks before the season got postponed. The Toronto Raptors were only 4 games away from having the same record as the Lakers.
This year, I cannot see it. But now, I will give you this. The heavens just opened for your man, LeBron James, and he got a golden opportunity without Anthony Davis.
But this father time, boy, is it a little bit too late for LeBron to actually go to that next level and score over 30 points per game to put his team over the hump to win some of these games in this very close-knit Western Conference?
They have a tough stretch of games coming up in which he can rise and shine and really help his GOAT case a lot if he could pull away, solidify and cement his case for MVP by carrying this team without Anthony Davis.
Yes.
And I believe the media will give him MVP as long as the Lakers finish at least the top 3 to 4 seeds. They'll give the LeBron the MVP trophy. Because that was the narrative already coming in to the beginning of the year due to the nice politicking LeBron James did in the bubble while trying to make a case that he should have got MVP.
This is his moment to say, watch this. And in a shortened season, he could gain so much momentum through this period going into the All-Star break that he could flat out run away with it and hide with it.
Yes.
And if he could win an MVP, 18th season at, what is he, 36? If you could do that, you'd obviously be the oldest ever.
Yes.
That would be feather in cap.
Yes.
That would be one where you could say, well, look what he did there.
Right.
No one in the history of this league has ever played better later than LeBron, especially if he could pull off winning the MVP.
Correct.
Okay, so here we go. Stage is yours. Spotlight on you. Show us. I'm going to reiterate my stance on him so far. He is second in the league in turnovers, which I do not love. I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but he's second in turnovers. I do not love the fact that after all this hoopla, hypela, all this hysteria about LeBron James has turned into a three-point marksman. No, he has not. He's reverting to the mean. He's starting to fall back toward his 34% career three-point shooting.
I don't believe he'll shoot that this year.
Okay, I know you don't, but through...
It'll be interesting to see if LeBron James can't get that three-point shot to fall consistently, is he really going to attack the rim? Because he's not blowing past guys like he used to. Now, if you notice, LeBron James is pushing off guys a lot more. And that's the beginning of some of the signs that are showing that father time is coming.
February, once we hit the month of Valentine's, he did not steal your heart away from the three-point line because he kept firing at a record pace for him in his career. He's jacking up 7 a game. It's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And I'm wondering, once again, because he's in his 18th year, are those legs going to hold up, jacking up all those threes, playing all those minutes 18 years in at age 36?
Need to make more than he's made over the last 7 games in the month of February because he's shooting 28% in the month of February. He's 13 of 46. If we just do February, he ranks 170th in the league, 170 in the league in three-point shooting. If we do just overall, he's fallen now to 38%. We have a little side bet on 38 or better, right?
He'll be 40 plus tonight.
Okay, we'll see about that. And he better be. He better be. Because right now, overall for this season, he ranks 90th in the NBA in three-point shooting because this league can shoot threes now.
Yeah.
Everybody
can shoot.
Hey.
Yeah, everybody is shooting. I mean, if you look at teams' percentages, all the way going down to the last ranked team as far as shooting percentages from 3 and just overall field goal percentages. 10 years ago, had teams put up those numbers, they would win games. Now teams that normally would have won games putting up a certain percentage is losing games. That's how much better everyone got. But me, I'm thinking that's just due to the bubble and just no fans being in the stands. It's pretty much less pressure. And guys are sort of playing in a gym-like atmosphere.
Everybody can shoot threes. I used to think 38% was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just mediocre right now.
I think the thing what's helping, Skip, is that we have a bubble syndrome in their own gym.
Okay.
Because there are no fans,
All
there's
right.
no screaming, there's no anything going on. Guys have gotten
Okay.
comfortable. We've seen, Skip, guys are shooting 50, 60% from the three-point line.
Okay.
That's unheard of.
Okay. We're about to talk about the Utah Jazz. They are right now living and dying on the three, except they're only living.
Living. Ain't no dying.
All right. I'm going to throw this out again. This is what cannot happen right now over this stretch to the All-Star break. There was a stretch of games from January 7th, which was a home loss to the Spurs, all the way through January 18th, which was another home loss for the Lakers to Golden State, in which LeBron in fourth quarters and overtime went 5 of 24. That just won't work. You can't do that anymore. He was 2 of 12 from 3 in fourth quarters and overtimes over that stretch. Will not work. Got to be better. Going to have to get this team home night after night. And you know, and I know, as you pointed out with the 2 overtimes against Oklahoma City, they're going to play a bunch of close games. They just are.
Right.
Because
Yeah, they definitely will. But I'm wondering if LeBron James thinks that he can run with the young guys at point guard in the Western Conference night in, night out, playing about 38 minutes a game. That might not end up working out. And I'm wondering if they're going to let Dennis Schroeder play point guard and stay at the top of the key while LeBron, his big body, he should be down low a lot more. He can conserve more energy and he can, finesse and get smart plays, smart fouls. He kind of sort of uses veteran presence to outmaneuver the younger guys.
they still have a pretty good team without AD, with LeBron leading it, obviously. Good enough to obviously compete, stay in all these games. I'm about to just whip through all the games they're about to face. They have one tonight at Minnesota, which is by far the easiest game on the schedule, except Minnesota just won at Toronto. Don't underestimate that. They're not a pushover. They're not a walkover. They're not a cakewalk.
You got Cat back now.
They
so
do.
Who you going to deal with Cat?
Okay, and that's going to be a problem for you unless you...
Well, until I see it, I consider Minnesota still a pushover team. They're picking at the top of the draft while having top draft picks, and they're still at the bottom of the conference.
Fix it at the trade deadline, but the trade deadline is pushed so far back this year, it's at the end of March. Okay, so it's not going to happen before tonight's game. So your man, the glacial Gasol, up in the frozen tundra of Minnesota tonight, he is going to have to play bigger than he has been playing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's...
How about faster? He don't need to be bigger. He just needs to be faster.
But that should be a big dub. Then come the Nets on Thursday night. I don't know if Kevin Durant's going to play or not. But listen, Kyrie and James Harden last night put on a show of shows at Sacramento, a team that can be dangerous, home or away. They're just dangerous because they got a lot of young talent. And Kyrie said no. And the Nets said no.
Skip, you let them shoot 27 threes, you can lose in every game.
They made 27, which, by the way, is their franchise record.
They couldn't miss.
And Kyrie made 9 threes. What? 9 of 11?
And then James said, okay, well, watch this.
Yeah, watch this. Watch, I'll make 6 of 10, and then I'll get, what was the rest of it? 14 and 13? Yeah. What? Okay, that's firepower. So even if it's just those two without Kevin Durant, they got firepower. So it's going to be a battle with or without KD, but you know KD would love to play, and maybe they circle that game as his next return. He's been returning all year long.
Yeah, that game, as we already know now, it's a loss. And Kyle Kuzma did step up a little bit, but that's not really saying much because Brooklyn's defense is just non-existent.
Okay, then they got Miami at home. Miami is struggling. You should win that game because the Clippers beat them without 4 starters last night. But the Clippers, I believe, are the deepest team in the NBA. I don't know how that's going to translate into down the stretch because you got to figure out how to play all those players once you get your 2 stars back and your other 2 starters and Pat Bev and Batum back. But the point is, Miami is vulnerable right now, but they're also whole except for Dragic. They're tough. Jimmy Butler had a huge... Jimmy Butler last night went 30, 10, and 10, and they lost. Okay.
Yeah, but Miami's still going to be a tough matchup because that team is well-conditioned due to Pat Riley's military style is just operating in that franchise. He keeps these guys well-conditioned. They're going to burn the Lakers because the Lakers in that matchup are going to have to figure out how to conserve certain guys because that next matchup after that Miami game is going to be against the Utah Jazz. So that might create a bit of a conundrum for the Lakers because I'm not sure if LeBron James could play 40 minutes in that matchup against guys that are, well conditioned to play all 40 minutes like crazy on the offense and defensive end and then go up against the next night against Donovan Mitchell in the Utah Jazz.
A hero had 27.
He had,
Bam had 27.
Off the bench, he had 27. My God. Okay, then here comes Washington. You got a home game against Washington, but they have won 2 straight and 3 out of 5. They're starting to click a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Their next matchup will be against the Washington Wizards. That'll probably be one of the more winnable matchups, but the Wizards are getting a bit healthier when it comes to some of the protocols that their players had to go through. Bertans, as I see, he's starting to come back after earning that, large contract. But that Washington matchup will be a bit easier for them. But the rest of the matchups are going to be difficult.
Get 40,
He's just going to get it.
Yeah, so don't even worry about him.
And Russ is taking the back seat and the sort of the 1A role to him, and they're starting to roll. And then guess where you have to go to at Utah. Utah is 23-5, and enough said. And they're 13-2 at home. Be careful. That's one where LeBron's going to have to play huge for them to survive that game, right? Then you got Portland at home. Portland is a surprise in the West to me because they don't have CJ. And they're 16-10, sitting in the 5th seed. Okay.
LeBron can kill the Trailblazers down low. I'm wondering if the Lakers are going to switch up, have Schroeder run point, and LeBron James can feast on them down low while conserving energy. Remember, LeBron James is the same size as Karl Malone, so him running around at point guard doesn't even make a lot of sense to begin with, especially when you got Schroeder on the team.
Already beaten you.
They've already beaten you. Then here comes Golden State. They sink or swim depending whether Steph is hot or not. Hot or not, hot or not. But if he is hot, you got problems.
Yes.
Okay? They are sitting in the 8th spot right now. So they are, as we speak, a playoff team. I'm not sure they will hang in there, but they are, when you have Steph, you got a chance, right?
Well, the Warriors are sitting at the 7th seed right now.
Then here comes Phoenix. The 4th seed right now, 17-9.
Yep.
And the Phoenix Suns are the 5th seed as I'm recording this.
And you left them out. You always leave them out when you talk about threats in the West. Are you discounting them?
No, I don't think they're one of the top three teams. Right? I just listed 3 teams. I think Utah, Lakers, and the Clippers.
Okay. Well,
with Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton should feast on the Lakers. That's going to be an issue for them. But CP3 and Devin Booker could end up driving this team nuts.
Devin Booker, I said at some point he's going to win an MVP. It doesn't look like it's going to be this year, but that's who he is.
Yes.
And that team is well coached, and it's got so much young talent. DeAndre Ayton is.
And Chris Paul does a great job of steering the ship.
And do you have a DeAndre Ayton on your team? I think not.
No.
Okay, and then you wind up this stretch before the All-Star break at Sacramento. I told you they're 7-10 at home, 12-15 overall. They're just dangerous on any given night.
Because they're so young.
Yeah, they're dangerous because they have nothing to lose. And De'Aaron Fox, the game is definitely slowing down for him. You could just see it. Some of the moves he's making, the game is just completely slowed down. He's gotten used to the NBA pace. Yeah, that team is dangerous because, once again, they're just young and have nothing to lose.
Just up and down.
Hey, and De'Aaron Fox is an all-star. He's just an all-star, and he's turned into a perennial all-star.
Yep.
Okay, look at that stretch. That's pretty rough. So your man is now 26-8-8, down 2 assists from last year when he led the league. So he's concentrating on other things.
It's tough, but when you say you're the best player in the world, you should be able to get guys over the hump. I mean, we look at Damian Lillard. He's done it. He's gotten his guys this season over the hump and bumped his team all the way up to the 4th seed. So it's doable for LeBron James. But the Lakers are lucky because the NBA does play politics. And due to the fact that the Lakers won the finals and experienced a short offseason, they were granted an easier schedule for this upcoming season when it first started. So now for the second half, which most likely will be without Anthony Davis for a good portion of it, is going to be the tougher part of their scheduling.
Okay, 3-point shooting. You better start making them. The seat's getting hotter. You got to make them.
I prefer he make the free throws.
Okay.
Because he's missing those at an alarming rate.
Okay, free throws right now. He is at 71%. That ranks 97th in the National Basketball Association. 97th at 71%. Not good enough.
Right.
To me, that's not MVP caliber. So you better up the ante here. You better up your game in every facet.
Well, I just think the thing is, Skip, he's going to have to play better. They can't afford to get out because what they did against the Nuggets is what they do. They normally start slow. Skip, they were down 22-2 to Memphis, and we saw them fall behind by, 15 to OKC in a couple of games. So they normally start slow. Against the Nuggets, they started well. It was the last 2 to 3 minutes at the half that got them into trouble, and then they was never able to get back in the ball game. But like I said before, this is LeBron's opportunity without Anthony Davis to show why people have him in the MVP discussion and leading the charge.
I got it.
But the other guys also, Skip.
I agree. Kuzma, rise and shine. Schroeder, rise and shine.
Especially Kuzma. Kuzma definitely needs to rise and shine because he has no worries. He's locked in. He's going to be a Laker for A few more years, there's nothing to worry about, and he's going to be starting at Anthony Davis's position. The way the Laker fans hype him up, he's got to deliver.
Markeith, his brother last night had a big 32-point game for the Clippers.
He got him to that start in the first half, Skip.
Okay. Markeith, you better rise and shine.
Yes.
And finally, THT on TNT. You better rise and shine because you have been blessed by the King. You have been knighted on both shoulders with a sword by the King. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
You are a Clutch client. And he has blessed you because he wants you to rise and shine for Clutch, for the agency, and for the Lakers. Is it time for THT to start taking over games in spurts?
Yes.
Well, maybe.
Yes.
That LeBron says he's something. He's
Yes.
special, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Skip, you know what they need to do, Skip? They just need to make... I'm watching everybody around the league. Everybody can make threes except us. You notice that? Everybody, I'm talking about, they draining threes left and right. They're making 15, 20, 25, 27. I think somebody made a couple of weeks ago, maybe made 28, 29. I'm like, damn, Lakers going 6 of 30. Lakers go 7 of 27. I'm like, damn, everybody can shoot except the Lakers?
I thought LeBron figured it out.
Skip, LeBron ain't shooting 27 threes. The team needs to figure it out. I ain't worried about GOAT. GOAT go do other things.
But go.
Especially Wesley Matthews. He needs to step up for them. He was known as being that guy that shoots threes. But at the end of the day, the Lakers, they don't really have to focus with that if Anthony Davis is on the floor. See, defensively is where they lock you up. That's how they were successful last season. But now with Anthony Davis gone, we could put LeBron towards the real test to see if he can elevate to that next level at age 36.
Got to lead the charge. He's got to set the tone.
Skip, they got the second best record overall in the NBA. He's doing fine.
Okay, 2 weeks ago, I was reading all these stories about, Lord have mercy, LeBron is making every three he looks at. And some nights he can when he gets going.
Well, Skip, look.
Reality, I'm looking at what Skip just said. Some of those articles was like, Lord have mercy, LeBron James doesn't age. In reality, LeBron James is kind of hiding behind the production of having Anthony Davis. But now he could potentially get exposed in these next upcoming weeks. Because the last time we seen LeBron having to lead the Lakers to get them to elevate their production to make the playoffs, they fell short in that first Lakers season. If things don't go right here, I'm kind of seeing a similar situation that could go down.
The likelihood of somebody shooting 50% all year from the three-point line, especially a guy that shoots that many. Yeah, there have been guys that shot 50%, but they didn't shoot the volume that LeBron is shooting. As great as Steph Curry is, he's never shot 50% from the three. Neither has Clay. There have been some great Ray Allen, Reggie Miller. There have been some great shooters from three. Shooting 50% from the three-point line is very difficult. If you can shoot 40, you've had an outstanding season from the three. If LeBron James can stay somewhere in the high 30s, to maybe 40% from the three, that'll be fine, considering there have been very few people that have other tools in the toolbox, as many tools as he has, because he still can get to the rim, Skip.
Okay, well, he better be getting to the rim like
No,
crazy.
that takes too much out. Look,
okay.
I think what needs to happen is that there are a lot of times that LeBron gets up to these blazing starts, and then he's like, okay, I'm good. Let me get other guys involved.
Okay.
What needs to happen is that LeBron should let Dennis Schroeder play point and stop trying to dance around the top of the key with the younger guys. You're not at that stage of your career. LeBron James should get down low, use that big body he has, and start posting guys up. That's what should really happen.
Don't know if he's going to be able to continue to do that.
Over this 9-game stretch without AD before you hit the All-Star break, what will he shoot from three? Can he shoot 40% from three in this stretch?
As long as you say 38, 40, we good.
Well, is it 40? Which is it?
What we need to do is that come out of this 9-game stretch, we need to be no worse than 7-2.
Okay, all right. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see that first-year Laker LeBron. I don't want to see it anymore.
Hey, Skip is right on what I was talking about earlier. That first-year Laker LeBron, the Lakers, before LeBron had arrived, I believe they won either 35 games or less. And with the arrival of LeBron James the next year, they won the same amount of games. That right there was telling me Father Time is knocking on that door. And LeBron James got the gift from the heavens in Anthony Davis.
I want to see in this stretch him saying, I just don't have enough help.
Well, I think the thing is Kuzma should be better. I like to think the guys that they have.
Laker fans, you got to stop with the Kuzma shit. Once you rely on Kyle Kuzma, you already know it's over.
Ryan them are better. They're not as young now. So guys, and they've won a championship. A lot of these guys, Caruso's won a championship.
Yeah.
THT's won a championship. KCP's won a championship. So the expectation level and what LeBron expects of them and what they expect of themselves should be higher than what it was 3 years ago.
I just don't want to see Kuzma have to shove LeBron out to guard a three-point shooter.
Skip. Look at the defensive analytics on LeBron.
Yeah.
They speak for themselves.
Oh, okay.
They speak for themselves.
I just don't want to see that blooper tape that we saw 2 years ago.
How about this here?
Wait.
No.
Wait. Just
Or any excuses. Hey, I'm injured. I can't play. LeBron pulled that a few years back. I'm injured. Load management. But AKA, we have no chance to win, and I can't beat the Phoenix Suns in a must-win game. So don't blame me that we're not making the playoffs.
Mind everybody, I think we need. Oh, wait, here it is. It came out of nowhere. I didn't call for it. It just happened. It has a mind of its own. LeBron, get out there and guard the three-point shooter. Kuzma had to shove him out there. LeBron, you got to pick up the ball. Just don't do this in this 9-game stretch. Don't try to be too cool for school here and kick the ball out of bounds before you pick it up. LeBron, stop it. LeBron, you can't do this. This is Mario Hezonja. You got to be. That's the last-second shot at the Garden. You can't let Hezonja block your shot.
But let me ask you a
what
question.
Happened?
Did you know what I noticed? You ain't show no footage from the bubble last year. You ain't show nothing for that last year. What
LeBron James got plenty of rest. Don't forget that, Shannon. He got plenty of rest. Like I said, it'll be very interesting because we're about to see if Father Time really is hitting LeBron James. Because that mid-season break, because of the pandemic, was almost a gift from the heavens for LeBron James. Almost like a second gift. First, he got Anthony Davis to cover his ass, and then he got a break right before the playoffs had started. The championship couldn't have fell on his lap any more perfect.
You saw what happened.
What happened?
The Clippers didn't want to be there.
See? You see what you did? Now, all of a sudden, we get responsible for somebody else not wanting to be there. You got an obligation. That's what you do. You play, right?
The Miami Heat last night lost to the Clippers without 4 starters, and that's the Heat team you got to play in the final.
At the end of the day, the Lakers deserve that championship. The Clippers have messed that up, and it's too bad. Oh, well.
Congratulations.
Okay, so
you won cubic zirconia.
Was Giannis over there?
Over where?
In the East. What about the Celtics? What about Toronto?
Yeah. Did you see Giannis in the postseason last year in the bubble?
That's not our fault.
Oh, okay.
That's not our fault.
Okay, I just don't want to see any more blooper tapes. I don't want to get through this stretch and have to show you another blooper tape.
Do you want me to show you? You want me to show you what the Clippers did in Game 6, 7?
No.
Skip is kind of smelling the same thing I'm smelling. Will we see that LeBron James from a few years back when he first came to the Lakers? Because once again, LeBron James got 2 gifts from the heavens. One is Anthony Davis, and then the pandemic happening and them getting a major layoff in between the end of the season and the start of the playoffs.
You don't want me to see Paul George hit the backboard?
It's just ingrained in my psyche.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I'll
just making sure.
It's tattooed on my psyche.
You don't want me to show you Kawhi going 2-11 in the fourth quarter of Game 7?
Yep.
You didn't want
did.
That? Okay.
He did. Because they were looking ahead to the match they wanted was to beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
And they're on a mission this year to beat the Lakers.
You can't talk about where you're going and crash on your way there.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, Shannon is right about that. They definitely crashed. It is what it is. But we'll see if LeBron James won't crash on that MVP trophy. He's definitely got an opportunity to actually prove that he is the regular season MVP and that it didn't get robbed from him last year. So it is what it is. The next few weeks is going to be very interesting because a lot of these teams that the Lakers are about to go up against is going to create a very interesting matchup because Anthony Davis won't be there. So we'll see if LeBron James at age 36 could elevate to the next level like he used to. It is what it is. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Peace.